Hello and welcome to week 3 of your 30-day journey, Spring Awakening, with me, Noelle. Welcome to your halfway point. I applaud you. And also welcome to week 3, where we are going to switch things up again. So we are entering our equilibrium phase since we are in the week of the spring equinox. So we are going to play with alignment and articulation. So in general, like this next week, I would love for you to work with the mantra if you're open to it. I am articulate. So paying attention to each transition and connecting to the breath and noticing, maybe where you might be rushing or maybe getting a little angry or something. Just being mindful and articulate of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So today in particular, I thought it'd be perfect for the halfway point to call this video in transition. So today, I'm going to start off a little bit differently, switching things up a little bit so we can kind of play around there. And then we're going to transition into a very slow, very mindful sun A and sun B, and then some cool down stretches. But we are kind of inviting like a more stagnant energy. And stagnant doesn't mean bad, but we did just have a whole week of I am fluid and moving so fluidly, almost dance like, and moving swiftly, I feel like in general, but we grounded week 1, we moved through water for week 2, and now we are going to invite alignment, equilibrium, and this sense of articulation in week 3. And so today we are going to begin on our bellies. Find yourself in Sphinx pose. So you're going to be on your forearms, your elbows underneath your shoulders. Toes are pressing into the mat, about hip distance apart. Hands are pressing into the mat, and you're drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your chin slightly. It's not a big action, just make sure you're not hanging your head loose right here, but you're looking ahead like a nice, confident sphinx. Heart is shining forward, and this is where we begin. Begin to connect to your breath and set your intention, settle in. Inviting last week's or, yesterday's ahimsa, being kind to yourself and being true to yourself. So let's start by bringing our left palm in towards the middle of the mat. Take a look at the screen whenever you need. And then taking a bend in that right knee so it's sticking up in the air. And then reach your right hand behind you to grab that foot. So coming to the inside of the foot. Making sure you are actively pressing out of that left arm so your shoulder isn't being dumped into like this. But you have active energy and you keep your gaze forward. Your arms are working nice and hard. And for a little bit of an extra shoulder stretch, you can kind of like kick your foot out a little bit and build this resistance with your foot and your hand to deepen that stretch in your shoulder. Stay here for your shoulder stretch, or maybe you bring it in by grabbing your shin and getting more of a quad stretch in that right quad. So pick your poison, yogi's choice. Couple more breaths. I know that left arm is working. And then unravel and bring your hands to the outside edges of your mat. kind of like, depending where you are on your yoga mat, kind of by the outside corners, but for me, I feel like that's a little high. So feel it out. We're just going to undulate through the spine. So inhaling, rising up through the spine, protecting the lower back, not going too high, finding what feels good, and lowering back down. For 2 more, inhale, shine your heart forward. Exhale, float back down. If you prefer to do a cobra, keeping it soft and low, please do. So I'll let you have a couple more breaths just to find what undulation feels nice in your body. But then we'll all meet back again in Sphinx. And then bring our right palm into the middle of our mat. Kick that left foot in the air. And then reach around with our left hand and find either that shoulder stretch, or maybe we find that juicy quad stretch in the left quad. Remember to press into that the right foot in the mat and pushing out of that left, my goodness, that right arm. We're not dumping into its shoulder. So we're on our right hand forearm and we are grabbing our left foot or calf. Sorry for the confusion. A couple more breaths here. Looking forward, feeling strong. It's funny, this is actually like a really tough posture when that doesn't look like it, you know? And then release. And this time, plant one palm on top of the other and allow your head to rest on top of your backs of their hands and bring your big toes to touch and just wiggle out your hips. Do a little dance. Have a little fun. And maybe you can even like gently rock your forehead side to side and get a little massage for a little bonus. Giving your arms a beautiful rest. Because guess what? We're going back. All right, so take your time, but we are heading back to Sphinx. And you're gonna love me. We're gonna curl these toes under and press up into a forearm plank. What? Yes. Maybe you say, I am strong. We're gonna stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your moment of release, whether it's those undulations, whether it's your hips swivel on the back of your hands, or you're just a dead zombie. Find your 2 to 4 breaths of just letting it go. Spring's in the air. All right. Whenever you're ready, come back to that Sphinx. Curl those toes under once again, but listen carefully. This time, while we're in our forearm plank, we're going to see how far we can step those toes in for a little bit of walking our dolphin. So you can walk front and back, taking about 5 to 10 breaths to play around here. So when it ever gets too much, obviously take a breath. And if you need to see what I'm talking about, take a look at the screen. So walking our dolphins, maybe alternating our legs if that feels good. Upper body's working nice and hard, shoulders are strong, maybe your arms are on fire, maybe they're shaking. Play around. Maybe you do some hip dips. Feeling strong. So giving you an extra breath or two to play around there. Maybe you take a sip of tea with me, because guess what? We're at home. We can do whatever we want. I'm feeling crazy week 3, I guess. Okay, and then when you're done there, we're gonna all find our way into a downward facing dog. So hips nice and high, heart melting towards your thighs, ears in line with the shoulders. And unlike the last 2 weeks where I have invited you to pedal, like, not that you're not allowed, but like, I really invite stillness, like, really check, like, hey, maybe if I bend my knees a little more, it feels more like in tune, I feel more aligned. Maybe I haven't been melting, like, maybe you catch yourself, like, your heart isn't melting down and your ears aren't on your shoulders. Maybe you're a little high like this, like bending those knees to find that. Or maybe I can bend in one arm and the other, see if you're favoring a side. Just subtle movements, nothing super crazy. Maybe you realize you lost your breath. So before we begin our sun A's and sun B's, this is where I really want to invite, like I said earlier, your transition. So paying attention to how you transition. Notice when you're rushing. Notice when you might want to embellish. So this practice is yours, and this is your journey. And when we're all ready, we'll all meet at the top of your mats, finding a forward fold, hip distance for your feet or together, I do not mind. But we're going to take some breaths here. Once again, I kind of invite some stillness, so hands on the earth or blocks. Maybe you grasp opposite elbow, but really just kind of melt in your forward fold today. There's no rushing today. There's not going to be much rushing this week. That might be a turnoff for a lot of people. Just want to vinyasa and move, move, move. And that's okay. But that is not the energy or the intention for our week 3. But I do invite embellishments because you know what, it is your flow, but we have an intention and we're going to ride that wave. So when you're ready, slowly rise up to find your Tadasana. Try not to flinch or not flinch. Try not to fiddle around. Try to find your words. Come back to your breath. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Maybe you bring your hands to heart center or just gently let them hang at your sides. Roll your shoulders back a couple times, maybe equally distributing the weight in all 4 corners of your feet. So once again, check your alignment, having that core engaged. It's not like this huge action. It's like literally so subtle, but really, really tuning in through our sun A's and sun B's and in general this week. Noticing purposeful action versus reaction. Purposeful action versus reaction. So when you're ready, inhale, sweep your hands up towards the sky. Maybe you come on your tippy toes. And exhale, melt your heart all the way down towards your thighs as you come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Find your flat back position. Exhale, plant the palms. Step, hop, or float your way back. And this is an opportunity for vinyasa, or you can skip it and go straight to downward facing dog, which is where we'll all meet. And we're going to take 3 breaths here in stillness. So inhale for 1, for 2, for 3. And then make your way to the top of your mat once again, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, let something go. Root to rise as we find our way all the way back into Tadasana for an extra breath or 2. You can never forget that Tadasana is a posture. It is. And then inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, melt your way all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms. Step, hop, or float your way back. Plank, half plank, or meet us all back in downward facing dog. 3 breaths once again. And then make your way towards the top, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And then make your way to the top and finding your Tadasana. Hands to heart center or at your sides. We're going to do Sun A one more time. So inhale, reach your hands up towards the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, step, hop, float, making your way through your vinyasa and meeting back in our downward facing dog. Quickly making our way to the top this time, inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then reaching our arms all the way up towards the sky, and then exhaling, hands to heart center. So we're going to go through some B now, where we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take it nice and slow once or twice, and then that final round, I'm going to make it nice and fluid. So the slow time, you can really embellish, and then the second round is like that integrity in your alignment. So let's have some fun. Inhale, reach towards the sky. Exhale, chair pose. Hinge at the hips, deep bend in the knees, see how low you can go. Hands to heart center or in line with your ears reaching towards the sky. Breathe here for 1, for 2. How low can you go? Can you go any lower? For 3. And then exhale, fold over your legs, finding a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step, float, hop your way back, float through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Find your alignment, find your integrity, find your strength. Connect to your breath. All of it, you guys. And this time, plant your left heel, reach your right heel towards the sky, keeping your hips square. So point your right toes down towards the earth. Make sure you're not dumping into your left side. Ears in line with the shoulders still. Notice if your belly is not connected. Notice if you aren't gripping the mat with your hands. Just notice all the small little details before we step it in and through and finding either a low lunge, a high lunge, or warrior 1. Whatever feels good in your body today. Inhaling, raising your hands up towards the sky, whatever variation you choose. And then float your fingertips down, plant the palms, step your right foot back, and flow through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. I'm even noticing that I keep wiggling. See, nobody's perfect. It is that moment to correct yourself, Discipline. All right, drop that right heel, reach your left heel towards the sky, square hips, pointing those left toes down towards the earth. Keeping your alignment as strong and integrity as much as you can. Before you step it in and through, finding your warrior 1, high lunge or low lunge on the other side. Hands reaching up towards the sky or maybe heart center, or you can bring your hands to your hips. And then plant your palms, framing that foot, step it back, and flow through Yo Vinyasa. And meet us all back in downward facing dog. Stepping your feet towards the hands to the top of the mat. Inhaling, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise as you reach towards the sky. Exhale, Tadasana. All right, we're going to do that one more time, a little more fluid. All right, so inhale, chair pose. Deep bend in your knees, hinging at the hips, arms reaching towards the sky, hands at heart center. For 1. For 2. She said we're going fast, but no, not for chair pose. For 3. For 4. I bet you thought we were moving. Who kept going? For 5. Exhale. We are finally done. Forward fold, and then inhale, halfway lift, flat back position. Plant your palms, step it back, flow through your vinyasa, or skip it. We'll meet at downward facing dog. Drop your left heel, reach your right heel towards the sky. Step it through between your hands. Find your variation of lunge, high lunge, warrior 1. And then exhale, float the palms down, step it back, flow through your vinyasa of choice, meeting back in a downward facing dog. Plant your right foot down, reach that left heel up towards the sky, square hips before you step it in and through, finding your choice of expression today. Inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the sky, and then exhale, float them down, step it back, and flow through your vinyasa. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And then we'll all together take one big releasing breath. I highly invite you to sigh it out. So inhale, and then exhale. Before we all lower our knees, bringing them nice and together. Sweep your hands or paint your yoga mats as you come in to Balasana Child's Pose. Begin to soften the breath a little bit. I know we built just a little bit of heat there. Maybe massage your forehead on the mat or on a block. Maybe that little sequence, that little flow wasn't your favorite, or maybe you really enjoyed it. I'm curious of where maybe someone embellished, if anyone wants to drop it in the comments, or where maybe you felt frustrated. I want to hear from you guys, okay? And then we're all going to rise up and we're going to stay on our knees and find some twists. So inhale, reach your fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, twist towards the right, bringing your left hand to your right knee and then your right hand behind you. Inhale, find length, and then exhale, twist. Inhale, find length. Exhale, go deeper into your twist. Unravel, inhaling, reaching your fingertips up towards the sky again, maybe finding a slight back bend. You can have Kali Mudra where your hands are like, I don't want to say a gun, but it's kind of like a gun, but your thumbs are crossed. Your thumbs are crossed. And reach your arms behind you, getting a beautiful back bend before we open twist towards the left, bringing our right hand to our left knee and our left hand behind us. Inhale, find length. Exhale, melt into your twist. No forcing. And then come back to center. And this time, inhale, reach your hands up towards the sky. And then bring your left hand behind your left butt cheek and your right hand behind your right butt cheek. And find a slight back bend here, whether on your fingertips or maybe bring your palms on the mat. And it doesn't matter if your palms are facing like towards the back of the mat or the edges. Maybe you feel that out. But keeping a nice back bend here, protecting the neck. So like if you feel safe, you can lean your head all the way back. I'm not, because I might get dizzy, but finding what feels good here. One little back bend before we end our practice. And then unravel when you're ready. Coming to a comfortable seat for our last little ditty. So you can come into cow legs if you want. It's just an invitation if you're very comfortable with it, because we're going to play with eagle arms. So we're going to start by taking our left hand to our right shoulder and our right arm on top, okay? So if you're in cow legs, right now your left leg is on top. So you can stay here, giving yourself a big hug like this. And once again, right arm is on top. Sorry, itchiness. And if this feels good, stay here. Or see if you can bring your hands together, whether it's the back of your arms or you interlace them completely, and find your eagle arms. And so bring those elbows like in line with your nose, reach them up, 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 and forward, getting a beautiful stretch in the back body. If you're in cow legs, feel free to melt your arms towards your thighs or your knees, like so. And then unravel and switch. So now right arm comes on bottom and left arm comes on top. Maybe you keep that beautiful self-love hug like we did yesterday, or feel free to play with some eagle arms, pressing your elbows away from your face, reaching them high is how you can go, but don't hurt yourself. Obviously, be mindful. What we're all about today is articulation, alignment, and yesterday's ahimsa, being kind to ourselves. It all comes together. That union of yoga, you know? Taking that bend if you are in your cow legs with your right leg on top. I forgot to cue that. But I figure if you're doing it, you would do it. And then unravel. And then maybe you just kind of swish it side to side a little bit. Maybe you shake out your hands. And we will all meet in a comfortable seat, whether it's a seat or you want to lay down, because the practice is coming to an end. So you can pause me now before I say our farewells. But I hope you enjoyed today's practice. And I am very excited for week 3. I know I say that every week, but I'm really excited to like get a little nitty gritty. You know, we had a lot of fun with the water, and we did a lot of like foundation work, I think, in week 1 with the earth element. So I feel like you're going to feel really good and strong in your yoga practice after this week, and notice things that you might not have noticed before, hopefully. So if you at any point start to notice things that you haven't noticed before, I would love to hear about it. And let me know how you got on with that practice. And subscribe so you don't miss anything. Like, leave a comment, support me, please. I'm just kidding. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.